3D Expertise, and I'm Angela. And I'm here today with Shayleen Hulbert. She is a freelance character artist with over 4 years of experience working in games on a variety of projects, from AAA to mobile titles such as The Trail, Heroes of the Storm, Spyro Reignited, and Borderlands 3. Welcome.
Hi.
So how did you get started in character art?
Oh, wow. So I fall into a lot of things that I end up doing, so I kind of just follow my interests at the time. But I studied at university for game art, but I got a passable grade. 3D wasn't something that I particularly did. But I guess about a year after graduating, I got a job at a mobile studio and started expanding my 3D skills myself, and characters just kind of naturally seemed to be something that I connected with a lot more than environments or foliage and stuff like that.
What are your preferred mediums?
For my work or in general?
In general.
In general. It would probably be sculpting in ZBrush is probably the most fun part of any part of my pipeline, really. I don't draw as much as I used to, but it used to be Biro. I would just sketch as much as I could, really.
What would you say are your major influences in your work?
So I'm a giant anime lover. It's probably pretty obvious in my work that that's something that really inspires me. But in terms of artists that inspire me in general are people like James Jean. He's absolutely incredible. He uses many different mediums. And he used to have these sketchbooks where he would draw people, but it didn't matter if they moved, he would just draw them as they moved across the page, and it was just really interesting to see him work that way. And someone who just kind of harnesses any opportunity was just really cool for me. So it's not relevant in terms of you can see it in my work, but it's just someone that I always look to for like inspiration or I guess in a way guidance. If he's able to try lots of things, why can't anybody else?
Yeah.
Basically.
That's pretty cool. So this show is very much about process. Can you walk me through the process of creating a character, say from concept to the finished piece?
So concept I don't deal with.
Right.
That's usually someone else.
Does someone basically sort of bring you a concept? And then
usually a client will provide one, or at least they provide some kind of references. So references would just be like, this is the kind of style we're looking for, and this kind of outfit, and maybe this kind of face. And I'm pretty capable of being able to work from very little. Which as a freelancer is quite common. But the best way would be that you have some kind of concept art that shows style and everything you need to know about the character. And then from there, I like to have every milestone approved. So I break it down as a block out, which is very, very rough, just enough to see proportion and scale.
Yeah.
They approve that, and then I have a refining stage and then a feedback stage for that. And then you go into making it game res, because there's no way you can use a sculpt in the game. Which is then you retop it, so you're just reprojecting new geometry onto the high dense geometry. You unwrap that, that's just taking the 3D plane and making it 2D. And then you bake it, which is basically projecting information from the high poly onto the low poly and exporting it as a flat texture, which we apply again. And I use all of those maps to then do texturing and then pass it on. I don't do rigging or animation. So often once texturing is done, I'll render it really nicely for them and then send them all the files that they need.
Okay. What's something you wish you'd known about character art before you began?
So the biggest thing for me when studying, especially, was that I used to compare myself a lot to everyone else's process. They teach you one way of doing something, and they don't really encourage you to explore yourself different ways of doing the same thing. So the reason 3D never really resonated with me when I was a lot younger was just that the way they were teaching it in a very kind of methodical way didn't suit me. I'm very hack and slash. I'll tear stuff apart and stick it back together. So I really wish that I had known that there are other ways and there's never one way of doing something, and the way I do it is very much as valid as someone who does it by sculpting it from a sphere, which seemed to be the fad a few years ago. So yeah, I wish I just kind of had an opportunity to explore different methods more often.
Do you think that was because of limitations of the technology, or if it was just that someone had found a way and they kind of spread it to everybody else?
Yeah, I think I'm not sure about now. As like a lot of information on how to make 3D characters is everywhere now. About 6 years ago, it was a lot harder to find, and then 10 even more so than that. So you would have very few resources to pull from, and there was almost a little bit of elitism in a way of I can sculpt it from a sphere. Look how great I am, versus people who do it my way. Sorry, I hit this. People who do it my way. Weren't really we didn't see it. You didn't see people doing it. So it wasn't seen as being an option. And if you were unable to sculpt it from a sphere using one brush in an hour with no reference, then you weren't cool and you weren't any good. It was like a way of proving yourself almost. But a lot of that toxicity is gone from our community, which is really lovely. And people share how they do things constantly. So there's never an opportunity to say, this is one way to sculpt hair. So many people do it so many different ways, and we're all sharing it with each other. So there's no elitism there anymore of this is the best way, and if you don't do it this way, then you're not a real artist, basically.
That's cool. All right. What would you say is your favorite aspect of making art?
I guess it's just the ability to make. I'm really strange. I love making people happy. So if my clients really love something, it makes me really happy. But yeah, and I guess I work from a lot of concepts that other concept artists have made for my personal work, and often their excitement of what I've been doing gets me really pumped up. So for me, it's just like sharing something. I really enjoy the process. I love every part of the process, but getting, I guess, that shared excitement with someone else is probably what I like the best.
Do you have a least favorite? Something that frustrates you?
About art?
About the business of making art, even?
If we were talking business about making art, it would probably be, like I said, I have every milestone approved. It's so that to stop me from having to go back. Because with 3D art, if I have to go back, I have to redo everything else on top of that. So it's basically a never-ending cycle of trashing everything and redoing it. There's no easy fix. So the frustrating part would probably have to be people then saying, oh, how about we change this when it was already approved. But it'll be something that you pointed out like a while ago. It's not very common, but when it happens, it's just trashing all of that and redoing it all can be really frustrating if you're doing it a lot. But in terms of actual art, I don't find anything particularly frustrating about it. It's just a really creative, fun space and very welcoming as well. So,
do you ever have times where things are just not working?
Everybody does.
Yeah. Like, what do you do to cope with that?
I just stop. I stop and I come back later. There's no pushing through for me. And also being self-employed means I have management over my own time. But being freelancers, there's not a lot of opportunity to ask for help. So for me, it's just going away, thinking about it completely removed and coming back. And often in the morning, I kind of get what I need to do. It's much easier. So if I keep pushing, you just get frustrated and then you're not going to get anything done, basically.
Okay, you're involved with the community game developer group Game Events London?
Yes.
What is Game Events London and how did you become involved?
So it's only been going on for about 7 months now, and it's basically just a community group where we are focused on inclusivity, diversity, and education and community. And we try to basically create events that bring those values together. And we try to teach somebody something, usually. So there'll be some talk from someone talking about something specialized within their field. We try not to keep it vague. It's a way of bringing those ends of the industry together. One I recently planned was a VFX talk. So I really wanted to bring VFX artists in London in the same space so they could meet each other. Because a lot of the time, there's a lot of events for concept art or for design, but there's not a lot for programming, VFX, audio, or 3D. So we try to create events that bring those ends of the industry together, but at the same time, like I said, encouraging diversity and inclusivity and community, because London is such a loving space for developers that we just want to keep that going, I guess.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, thank you.
So, do you have any advice for people starting out in character art?
I always kind of just put it, it's a cop-out, I know, it's practice. A lot of the time it is practice and being open to failure. I don't learn from tutorials. I can't watch them. I have to watch them at 2 times the speed, and once I have one bit of information, I just close it. I don't need to watch it anymore. So I always encourage not fail fast, but fail, I guess, I'm trying to think of the word, efficiently.
Okay.
So I like to have small projects that will lead up to a larger one. So there's hand painting is something that I do in my own time and I enjoy for textures, and I've been doing small busts or small characters to then hopefully lead on to a much larger project that's quite complex. So some projects will have like metals or hair or skin or fur, and I'll just try to mix those things together, a few different styles, to find my rhythm and my workflow.
Yeah.
Because like anything, even your pipeline is your own. It's different for everyone.
Right.
So the way I paint textures, I've taken information from a few different sources, but it's still ultimately my workflow. And by going through that over and over and over again will solidify it in your mind.
Yeah.
Rather than trying to, which a lot of artists do, which I understand, we want to go for the biggest thing straight away because we're really excited about it. But it ultimately creates a large inefficient failure where you've spent a huge amount of time on something, and just because you haven't had the practice, not because you don't have the understanding, it's not going to be everything that you put it up to. So if you have small failures, you'll have a huge success, and that's what you want, basically. So yeah, that's probably my biggest advice is fail often, but efficiently.
Right. Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, thank you.
So, how can people find out more about you and your work?
I'm all over Twitter and ArtStation, so ArtStation is probably where my professional work is. Twitter is where I post everything. I've even got tutorials or little things that I found that I will post. So Twitter is Unicorn Dev Games, and then ArtStation is just my name.
Right.
So you can find that kind of stuff there.
Yeah.
Basically.
And we'll have links to all of this in the description of the video. Well, thank you very much, Shayleen.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody, for watching. This has been Everyday Expertise. Thanks for watching. We hope you enjoyed this interview. Be sure to share this video with friends and colleagues who may also enjoy this topic. Let us know your thoughts by leaving a comment below, or check the description for our social media. See you next time.